So we're back.
We're back.
You're back from Austin. Your big adventure, Garrett's big adventure in Austin.
I don't know how much the viewers want to hear, but yeah, I went on tour, like a West Coast, Southwest Coast type tour. My band day two opening for Robert DeLong. And as could be expected, I got COVID and I had to spend a week and a half in a Austin hotel room.
I
Just
told
basically,
you that was going to happen. I was
you,
waiting. I was waiting to use that.
you said I gave Ken one I told you so, and he's supposed to do it in person. So I'm not gonna count that because I know you wanna rub it in my
Yeah, I
face.
want to rub it in more. So how was it in a hotel room for 10 days?
It was well, it was the most practice I've got in like a year. It's like the first time I didn't have to go anywhere or go grocery shopping or whatever. So
You didn't even see Austin when you were there?
I mean, we walked around the day that we played the gig there, and then me being stupid, I was like, man, I wish we could spend more time in Austin. I wake up the next morning, feel like shit, take the test. Nobody else got sick, which was really, really lucky. But
Weird.
I got to spend more time in Austin. I walked around a little bit, but I didn't get to actually, experience it.
Now
Anyway,
that, now that you've actually had COVID, what are you going to obsess about? You're going to have to come up with a whole new like program.
I'll find something. I'll find something else to be freaked out about constantly. All right, people don't want to hear about this. People want to hear about records, man. Let's talk about some records.
Yeah, it was a cool year. It was like
Oh
the
my
best
gosh,
year ever for records.
I think so. It's been really, really exceptional. So we're just talking about our five favorite finds, and we might have to do another one, Ken, because I had to cut a lot of ones that I really wanted to talk about. But and then we're gonna close with our favorite new release or new reissue. Ken does a lot of reissues. I don't do a lot of reissues, but
New pressing.
new pressings, yeah, they're new pressings of something. But I got something I'm really excited to show. In the last episode, I mentioned I had won that ECM thing, and I showed off the bag I got, but I didn't show off the record that they sent me. So I'm gonna show this off. I don't get a lot of new records. That's just not. I don't know. It's not what I do. So this was a nice, and it's ECM, so their pressings are immaculate, and their mixing and mastering is great. This is Thomas. I'm gonna butcher all these names. Thomas Stronen, Ayumi Tanaka, and Martha Leah, and it's called Bayou. It was, I think, put
New,
out.
is
What?
that a new release?
Yeah, I think it was put out last year, or maybe recorded the year before, or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like a newer one.
Yeah, all their covers kind of look like this now, and it's great, man. It's really, it's adventurous. It's kind of got some 20th century classical free jazz kind of vibes, but really pretty music. A lot of it's very, very delicate. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I got to dig into it more. I've only listened to it once, but it's an interesting instrumentation. It's basically Martha Leah plays clarinet, voice, and percussion. Ayuma Tanaka plays piano, and Thomas Stronen plays drums and percussion. So it's a very unusual orchestration, and it's a nice record. I'm really glad that they sent it to me. It's not necessarily something I would have maybe stumbled on my own, because they put out so much
Oh,
stuff.
this was a freebie.
Yeah, they sent this to me for free, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
For your video, right?
Yeah, for the video I made, yeah. Go to our Instagram page to look at the video. Oh, hold on, Ken, before you go further, we got to plug the Instagram page. I think it's just Paramount Record Shop, and also follow us on YouTube so that you can see what we're putting out. We got we got big plans for this YouTube channel because it's kind of starting to take off a little bit.
Yeah, and our last 30-minute documentary totally took off.
Yeah, it's got like 8,000 views and counting.
Yeah, we're going to 10, man.
Yeah, I think so.
We're going to 10,000 on this one,
Yeah,
which for a 30-minute documentary, that's pretty good.
it is. And also considering our other videos generally have like 20, 30 views, or historically now they've been growing because more people have been watching. But
Yeah, so this week we've got a sort of an outtakes of that coming out.
yeah,
And then
and it's fun. It's not like bottom scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like it's cool, fun stuff. You're gonna like it.
yeah. And then in the next couple weeks we've got the Zappa video
Mhm.
coming up. We're gonna dig into my Zappa collection, which is vast.
Yeah.
So my first pick for the favorites last year, Toshiko Aki. I knew I was going to butcher this. Akayoshi. Toshiko Akayoshi, and it's called Finesse.
Hmm.
And it's on Delmark. I generally like the Delmark stuff for newer jazz.
Hmm.
Straight trio record, just absolutely stripped down, bare bones trio record, piano, bass, and drums.
Who are the other players on it? Would I recognize them?
Monty Budwig plays bass, and Jake Hanna plays drums.
I'm not familiar with them.
I've heard of Jake Hanna. Monty Budwig, I've never heard of, but she's a great sort of Bill Evans style pianist.
Hmm.
And I really like spacious trio jazz when I can find good stuff. And this was recorded just beautifully. I mean, it's really, really spacious. So if you really like to kick back and listen to stuff that's going to be kind of showing off your stereo speakers a bit, it's really nice.
Sweet.
She's I think she did a duet with somebody else at one point, and she's done a lot of records, but I actually picked up two of her trio records and really like the vibe of this stuff. So Toshiko Akayoshi Finesse on Delmark. Probably not an expensive record. Probably $10.
Wow. Then is it new? You said, or is it?
Oh, this is like from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
No, 78.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was actually originally on Concord Jazz, and it's got the Delmark insignia. So I don't know if this is a reissue done by Delmark or if Delmark owned Concord at that time.
Hmm.
But really nice stuff. I've got another one I'll probably show at some point.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've never heard of her before. I'll have to do some digging. All right, I'm gonna bring up. Let's see. For my next one, I got really into Brazilian music this year. I got a deep dive, which is if you haven't.
I know what this is gonna be.
Yeah, I don't know if you know what it's gonna be.
Did you get it for me?
What?
Did you get it for me?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
got. I literally. I came in one day. I bought all your Brazilian records.
Yeah, I just got
Don't regret.
really
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah. I haven't been disappointed. Everything has been. They're just. I think I've done the Brazilian pitch on other vlogs we've done, but the music is so adventurous and colorful and eclectic and exciting and yada yada yada. Anyways, this is my favorite one. I may have talked about this way back in the day, but oh wait, no, I couldn't have because I just bought it. But this is Flora Purim.
I thought you were gonna show the one by your sister.
That one was good, but it wasn't as good as this one. This one is like,
Yeah, this one's fairly common. The
yeah,
other one by her sister I've never seen.
that one's pretty rare. And
Yeah.
it's cool. It's good. She's got some great musicians on it. She does some cool stuff. They do a really cool cover of Spain. But man, this might be my favorite record. I think. No,
Does that have Airtoe on it?
it's got everybody. So it's got Airto, David Amaro, Ron Carter. It's a mix of Brazilian and American musicians. George Duke from America, Egberto Gismonti's on it. Alfonso Johnson, Ndugu. Him I'm not as familiar with. A couple other guys, Roberto Silva, and of course Hermeto Pascual is on a couple tracks. Um, uh, Dude,
Yeah, it's a good record.
it's a
It's
great record.
from her best period. She had
Yeah,
like three or four really good ones.
yeah. This
Here,
was
that would have been 70s, right?
yeah. This is like what is it? 76. Recorded in the States for CTI. It was right after she got out of prison for
She was in
cocaine
prison.
possession.
Really?
Yeah. So she was still musically active in prison. Like I think they let her out once or twice to do some records with Dizzy Gillespie or something like that. But so she came out, she did this record, and everybody plays great, and they do a whole bunch of Chick Corea tunes and some of Hermeto's tunes, and she wrote this really beautiful one called San Francisco River, which is a river in Brazil, not a river in San Francisco. And yeah, if you're trying to get into Brazilian music, this might be the record. As soon as I drop the needle, I get like goosebumps immediately. It's incredible.
Yeah, she's unappreciated, for the level of recordings that she did.
Yeah, and also just like her influence, because I got into Airto first, and Airto is, I mean, he's also kind of a genius. But he, in an interview, he was kind of like, no, kind of like all the musical decisions, like she's in charge of most of that, So she's really got the brains behind all that stuff.
So my next thing here has been
Oh yeah,
another, yeah, a new journey for me. I never really got into these guys, so it's Gong and it's called Shamal. And I picked up a bunch of their stuff. I really like their stuff. It's hardcore prog, but it's got a little bit of jazz fusion and it's really adventurous. I mean, it's really it can be out there, but in a very melodic sort of way. Um, they use a lot of really bizarre instrumentation, like bells and stuff like that. It's almost he was, I think, the main guy was from Soft Machine, and this is sort of an offshoot of Soft Machine. But I know a lot of these guys that were in Gong also were in Tubular Bells.
oh okay,
Yeah, the old field thing.
yeah,
So it's one of those bands where like every album is a different lineup, and there's guys that come and go. I guess the main guy is the drummer Pierre Maureen Moreland.
okay,
Pierre Moreland. Yeah. Um Mike Howlett's on this. Dejir Mel Herb. uh Weird names.
yeah,
Al Bauer and Patrice Lemoyne.
hmm.
So yeah, really interesting stuff though. I mean, as far as prog records go, this is definitely one of my favorite all-time prog records.
Sweet,
Yeah, really cool stuff. And the rest of the Gong stuff that I picked up was all pretty interesting too, but I think this is the best of the lot so far.
yeah.
Oh,
I did a little scan of their music like a month or two ago, but I haven't like sat down and listened to a specific record of theirs yet.
oh man, side one of this is just crazy good. I mean, it's one of those things you just can't believe what you're hearing.
Yeah.
It's got that Mike Oldfield Tubular Bells kind of vibe where there's a lot of instruments and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Hmm.
And every time they introduce a new instrument, you're like, really? Am I really hearing that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Really weird stuff. But yeah, I think the lyrics are well thought out. Um, Generally, I kind of like more instrumental oriented prog, but I think the vocalist in this band is really good. The lyrics are good. They're deep,
Yeah.
and some of the prog stuff, the lyrics can be kind of stupid.
Yeah.
This really isn't like that.
Nice.
It's
That's
pretty,
good.
pretty spiritual, you know?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I would highly recommend checking these guys out.
I'm gonna hunt that down. Yeah. All right. I've been. This is from that really massive collection we got in with all that crazy stuff. You know, like all the Miles stuff and the. That's where I got like the Water Babies. I don't think I've talked about this yet, um, but I've been on a huge Dave Liebman adventure lately.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
got that.
So this is one of his earlier records. Um, Basically his band Lookout Farm, his first album I think was called Lookout Farm, and it was a similar lineup. Check out the people on this record, man. Um, so Liebman, obviously, Richie Byrock, who was the piano player he's played with for a long time. John Abercrombie, and John Abercrombie back in those days, man, playing on that fusion shit, dude, he was just out of control. Jeff Williams, Don Elias, there's a couple other people. But Dal Roy, who just passed away, he was the tabla player on like On the Corner and stuff, and
Yeah,
he played with Pharoah Sanders and other people. Really important, uh, bridging the gap musician. Less of a like traditionalist Indian player and more like how do I get in? How do I fit into these Western grooves?
yeah. He did a lot of fusion records.
Yeah. So he's really great. He just passed away a couple weeks ago.
Sort of a predecessor to Telvin Singh and some of the other more modern guys.
Yeah, yeah. And Charlie Hayden's on here as well. A couple other guys. Um, this isn't. It's not my favorite of his, but it's a cool record, man. Obviously, as you can probably tell, there's a lot of Indian influence on here. Um, they do a cover of "Within Without You" by George Harrison. That's really cool. And the opening track, Dr. Faustus, is pretty nuts. So this is great. And I've also, I know you don't like it when I bring up books, but this is actually relevant to something I'll be talking about later. I've been reading his autobiography, which is called What It Is, The Life of a Jazz Artist. Um, and he's just talking about his journey, and it kind of humanizes him a little bit because when he plays, you're like, this guy can't be from Earth, you know. But just like learning about his process of, he had to hunt. You had to really had to hunt if you wanted to learn how to play like Coltrane and like those guys back in the day. He's a cool guy. Um, and I love this cover too, man. These are the cats.
Yeah, yeah. I went through a stage where I was really buying a lot of his stuff.
Yeah,
I was telling you about the is it 10-wheel drive?
yeah,
Yeah, that's a great thing. It's in sort of a Chicago-ish fusion band.
yeah.
He
But
was
they're
in,
pretty gritty.
huh?
They're pretty gritty.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah,
They're like the grittier side of Chicago for sure.
yeah.
Kind of more into the fusion stuff.
Mhm.
Kind of almost Detroit uh R&B kind of vibe too at times. And that's where I first heard of him. He was
Oh,
in that.
really?
Yeah, he was in
Wow.
that band. So this one's gonna blow your mind. I don't think you know about this.
Okay.
I recently got this from one of the collections that walked in. An original first pressing of Smiley Smile by the Beach Boys. Yeah. And it's minty too, man. It's really nice.
So I'm a little. I know a little bit of the history of that. Is Brian Wilson on that, or did they like finish it without him?
Brother Records. I think he did most of this.
Okay. I mean, I know he like built up the songs and the instrumentals, but I remember like he left or something before they put it out, or I'm a little bit hazy on the actual process.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot of the history either, and I've never seen this.
Hmm.
Well, it's not something I would have ever tried to hunt down. But actually, we got a bunch of Beach Boys stuff in. It was
Right.
all nice and Good Vibrations is on here. It's my favorite Beach Boys song, but the rest of it's kind of experimental. and a little bit Pet Sounds esque,
Yeah.
but a really good listen. I mean, very present music. It's the way it's recorded. It's almost kind of lo-fi in places, but really, really upfront, really in your face.
Hmm.
So it's a really interesting listen, and especially a really nice copy like this, man. I'm super stoked about having it.
Yeah.
So as one of my big finds of the year, walked in the front door in a collection, and I was just like, I need that.
For those of you who don't understand, or just kind of getting into our channel, Ken owns Paramount Record Shop, which is basically just his way of feeding his record habit. So when
Yeah.
the collection comes in, he's already got most of the cool stuff. So that's why the store has so much cool stuff. But if there's something he doesn't have, he'll sneak
Well,
it.
of course.
Yeah,
It's all about the excitement of finding new stuff.
yeah,
I don't do any of this for the money. I know it's hard to believe.
yeah.
I know it's hard to believe that there's really no money in owning a record store anyway.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
it's all about the records, man.
absolutely. All right,
So
this is another one I got at your store. And you're gonna like this one. This was one I was kind of hunting for a while. Larry Coryell Offering. One of his earlier solo records. I don't know where it falls in the lineup of stuff. Um, but it's got some guys that he plays with quite a bit. Steve Marcus on soprano, Mike Mandel playing keyboards, Mervyn Bronson on bass, Harry Wilkinson on drums. And it's dude, it's his compositions. He's a very underrated composer, I think, because
yeah, and a lot of it's kind of almost psychedelic.
it's incredibly psychedelic, but it's also he does man he the way he uses odd time signatures back in those days, like McLaughlin, rightfully so, gets a lot of credit for that, and McLaughlin's also a genius and a visionary, but Coryell uses them in kind of a different way. It's kind of hard to describe, and really uses unusual, not unusual, and oh yeah, I guess unusual in the West as far as like the tonalities that he uses and stuff. Um, and it's
Well,
and
he was a Buddhist, and
yeah,
I think there
I
is
don't
a
know if he was at this time though. I think that was a
I
like
think he was starting to mess around with it, and I think there is a spiritual component to all this stuff,
yeah,
which is my point. I think there's maybe more of a spiritual component to his music than most of the stuff that was going on back
yeah,
then.
yeah. Um,
Uh,
yeah, well, his band was at this time his wife at the time was really into astrology, which is why the band was called 11th House. His fusion band. Um, but I
Julie
think what?
Coriel, Julie Coriel,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I think he really I think he formally became a Buddhist kind of as part of his like cleaning himself up kind of thing. Something to replace because he had to like he basically couldn't play sober, so he had to rebuild himself up, which you kind of need something like that to do that.
yeah, yeah. I don't know the chronology of it, but I always did get the feeling that there was a really strong spiritual component in everything he did,
Mm-hmm.
even from the very beginning. I mean, his
For
early stuff,
spirits,
it was kind of Hendrixy, but it was deeper. There was more to it.
deep man. I don't know. I get a strong spiritual feeling from Hendrix's, especially his live stuff, man.
Oh, I do too, but
Yeah,
in a different way.
different. Yeah,
It was, and I know people that hung around with Coryell back then, and they say he was a deep guy.
hmm
And I've talked to him and met him, and um, he was an interesting guy. There was a lot of layers.
yeah, yeah, man. Every record he does is different than the other one. and has some sort of twist on it.
Yeah, and you just look
Incredible.
at the magnitude of the amount of work he did. 100, well over 100 records, maybe 200. I don't know. He was a sideman for a lot of other people, and he did all the Gary Burton stuff and
Yep. Yep.
the Free Spirit stuff. And I mean, he was on the new John Anderson album.
Oh, he was. I gotta
Yeah,
listen to that. Yeah.
yeah, Thousand Hands, which
Mhm.
I guess took like 10 years to actually finish, which is why he's on there.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
died
right.
died like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but he was just on a million albums, and he did a lot of stuff on his own. He did a lot of stuff with the 11th House. He did a lot of stuff that was um, just released in Europe that we never saw.
Right.
I've been buying off eBay for a while now,
Yeah.
and now there's broadcast stuff coming out. I
Yeah.
just bought 2 broadcast CDs, which
Sweet.
I haven't gotten yet, but
Yeah, this is a great time to be alive as far as digging that kind of stuff up, which we'll get. Oh yeah, bring that one up, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a biggie for me this year. I love Wanda Jackson, and this is a weird turn of events in that Joan Jett is the one that actually got her to come back and do one more record.
Wow.
This supposedly is her last record. I think she had a stroke, and she's saying she's done, but a lot of people have said that. Who knows? She is in her 80s, I believe, but her voice is better than ever. It's an amazing. So this is the special edition version. There's some cool photographs of her in the early days, and the one over here was taken recently.
Hmm.
And I actually bought this on CD and on vinyl. Check it out.
Oh, perfect.
Marbled
Yeah.
pink vinyl. So this was produced by Joan Jett. Um, it's, I believe it's on her label. Yeah, it's on Blackheart. And if you like rockabilly, man, this is the best rockabilly album to come out in a bunch of years. It's just outstanding.
Hmm.
Her voice, like I said, her voice hasn't lost a thing, and she's got that same wit that she always had. So I, for one, am like really, really excited that there's good rockabilly albums coming out,
Sure.
and I think anybody would enjoy this, even if you don't even know what rockabilly is. It's just fun.
Yeah.
So
All right. Let's see. Yeah, I gotta bring up. Um, you gave me a couple of records this year, and I could have just talked about those, man. That could like those could have been on my pick because they were all pretty, special. But I'll talk about this one just to kind of change up like the subject matter of my records. These have mostly been kind of jazz oriented stuff. Um, this is Banjoland, Tony Trishka, and Ken had this playing all the time when I'd be in the shop, and I'd always be like, "What the fuck is that?" Um, and this has like all the guys on it, man. Grisman, Jerry Douglas, Vassar Clemens, Tony Rice, Bela Fleck, um, and it's just a ripping great bluegrass record. And there's a lot of kind of standard bluegrass tunes on here. I think maybe a couple originals. I'm not sure. Um, this was exciting for me because I have a couple of bluegrass records, but mainly like like the obvious kind of first picks that you'd get when you're getting into bluegrass. So this is kind of like the first more deep cut record I've got, and I'm
yeah,
really excited about it.
I had to hunt that down.
Yeah, I
You don't
appreciate that.
see that. You don't see that ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, interesting story. Last time I went to try out stereo speakers, I took a copy of that. All the guys, the geeky guys in the stereo store are like, "What's that, man?" It's very well recorded, and
Yeah,
it's got one of the best bluegrass bands ever assembled.
really, yeah, really incredible musicianship.
And for those who don't know who Tony Trischka was, I believe he taught Bela Fleck.
I think so.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
goes back a ways. So this is probably my most obvious pick of the year, but I had to do it. It's so good.
Ooh, yeah.
Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, Raise the Roof. Just a killer album. Great band. Produced by T-Bone Burnett, just like the first one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do they have Rebo on there?
huh?
Do they have Rebo on there? Mark Rebo?
Yeah, the guitar players are Bill Frisell and Mark Ribot. Yeah, Victor Krauss is playing bass, Alison Krauss's brother, and he's done some really cool proggy stuff. And then Buddy Miller is all over this.
Wow.
Love Buddy Miller. So if you like the first one was awesome. I think this one actually is even better.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing. What can you say about these guys? I
Yeah.
mean, it's been like a lot of years since they did the first one, and
10 almost.
it's a worthy comeback for these guys. It couldn't be better.
Yeah. I watched a little, like, I think they maybe did a Tiny Desk concert or some sort of broadcast sort of thing with the new group.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah. All right. I think am I at the end of my, all right. So now this is time for like the bonus edition. So I don't buy a lot of new records, but my other teacher Jack Grassel called me up. He's like, Garrett, you got to get the new Coltrane release. They just had found the tapes of a live. I mean, I might as well just show the thing while I'm talking about it. They found the tapes somewhere of a live recording of Coltrane performing "A Love Supreme." It was recorded by, I think his name was Joe Brazil. He was a friend of Coltrane's. He played on Ohm and stuff. And they just did like a like stereo out from the board or something like that. And it was in this guy's attic, like it was with, like a bunch of those bootlegs and stuff. So they packaged it up. And first of all, the packaging is really high quality, like the actual case, the record art. It's got that classic Impulse kind of vibe. And there's a really great booklet that came with it that's got some kind of essays, some historical notes that really, like, they're really well done. They're not just like, Coltrane was the greatest. He was on a journey and he's so fantastic and everybody loves. It was like talking about like the political implications of what was going on at the time, and why A Love Supreme was so why he didn't perform it that often, all the kind of great historical stuff. So, as for the music itself, uh, don't listen to this if you haven't listened to the original A Love Supreme at least 10 times, I think, because it is out there. They have a kind of an expanded group. This is right after they did Ascension. So you have obviously like the classic quartet of Coltrane, McCoy Tyner, Jimmy Garrett, and Elvin Jones. You also have Pharoah Sanders. This is kind of right when Pharoah Sanders like officially joined the group. Carlos Ward on alto, and then Donald Raphael Garrett as the second bass player. And Jack wasn't that crazy about the second bass contributions. I kind of agree with him. There was a lot of it that I didn't need, or it sounded like he didn't really know what to be doing. But at the time, I guess there had only been really two records out that had two bass players, as far as I know, which would be like Free Jazz by Ornette and Ascension. I don't think
Miles Davis did it.
he did, but this is like in '64,
Yeah, later.
and I don't think he would have two bass players maybe until like 70 something. He was a little late to the party on that. But they really stretch out. It's twice as long. It's a double LP set. And man, I had so many kind of epiphanies about Coltrane's music as I was listening to it. and it kind of hit me at a good time because I'm reading Liebman's book. Actually, Lewis Porter, who co-wrote this book with Liebman, did some of the liner notes for this, and just kind of prefacing it. I just read a chapter where Liebman was kind of talking about his journey to really understanding where Coltrane's music was coming from, which had a lot to do with a certain three-letter substance. But um, yeah, it's I can't really express what the effect the music has on in a vlog like this, but it's heavy. It's a challenging listen. You know, there were a couple times where I started kind of drifting off, and I kind of had to be like, no, man, just like sit down, let the sounds come in. If it doesn't make sense, like that's okay. But just some like really brilliant moments, especially between Elvin and McCoy, man. They really, I mean, and you can basically only hear Elvin Jones. It's an Elvin Jones solo record because he plays so goddamn loud. Um, but it really heightened my appreciation for his playing, and McCoy just takes this ripping solo on Pursuance that's like 5 minutes long, and it's just a masterpiece. So if you love Coltrane, you're not going to be disappointed by this. It's going to blow your mind, I think.
Well, you know what mine's going to be.
You know what yours is going to be.
I can only remember my name, David Crosby. So this is one of those records. There's never, in my opinion, been a really good pressing of this until now. And I had like three of these. I had three different pressings, and certain songs on each one sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it was. Like the stock Atlantic pressing of this sucked. It was just terrible. So this was done from the original analog tapes. It is a stellar pressing. I bought two of them. I've got a sealed one, and it's always been one of my favorite records. It's got probably the best band ever assembled.
Yeah.
Check this out. Um, Neil Young, Graham Nash, David Freeberg, let's see, Mickey Hart. I'm just going to tell you the people that you would know.
Yeah.
Jerry Garcia, Paul Kantner, Phil Lesh, Bill Kreutzmann, Michael Shrevey from Santana, Jack Cassidy, Jorma Kaukonen, Grace Slick, Greg Raleigh from Santana, Joni Mitchell, Elliot Roberts. I mean, it's an amazing lineup.
It's David Crosby and the Grateful Dead minus I think
And Jefferson Airplane.
and plus Jefferson Airplane,
Yeah.
Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Can you imagine like you're good enough that Jefferson Airplane and the Grateful Dead are your backup band? I mean, and it really does warrant that.
Yeah.
This is David Crosby's best songwriting for sure.
I don't know, dude. I feel like he's
I think
written
so.
some really great songs in the past few years.
Well, yeah, his new stuff is amazing, and I might say that that's better after I absorb it for another decade or two.
Sure.
But I mean, I've listened to this a lot, and it's just a stellar record. Everything about it is just the production is awesome, and to have a really good analog pressing of this is a dream come true for guys like me.
Yeah.
So buy this record.
If you can find it.
Whatever you do, it's still out there. It's
Well,
still in print.
nice.
So yeah, buy this record. No, everybody needs this. This is a record that nobody can live without.
Yeah. It's a special listening experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our list. We might have to do another one of these because I had to cut quite a few records from my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as I said before, subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of big stuff planned. coming on here now that I mean people are actually tuning in and like checking out our stuff. Um, and check out our Instagram. You know, I run the Instagram. I put a lot of thought into it. I've lately started putting in like musician birthdays and showing off the cool records we have at the store.
You're
Um,
doing an awesome job, by the way.
Thank you. And our mailing list. I'll have our mailing list down there. If you live nearby, you want to like know when the cool collections come in and all that stuff, or you want to stay caught up on the videos we're putting out. Um, and come down to the store, man. Pitch the store for us real quick before we go.
The store is just jam packed full of amazing stuff. I cannot believe the collections we're getting in.
Yeah.
It's mind numbing just thinking about it. I mean, every weekend we get two or three just amazing collections. So the store is always just packed. Help us out with that.
Yeah. There's too much. There's too much at the store. Somebody take some of that stuff home.
Yep.
All
So
right.
we're open Thursday and Friday, noon to 5, Saturday, 11 to 4, and by appointment Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. Keep enjoying your music. Stay safe. Stay warm, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.